I think that the biggest issue that I want to make sure that the world understands is the predictive nature of what has been stated. If we could predict stuff like that, then the world would be a much, much better place for all of humanity. And I want to make sure that the world understands what is really getting ready to happen. I think that censorship is always something that an authoritarian dictatorship type government would want to when they want to prevent the dissemination of information. So rather than even trying to give a reason for the censorship, let's ask the millions of people out there that may be seeing this, why would anybody censor facts and truth? Why would you want to stop the conversation? There are going to be people that cannot tolerate the truth, because if they believe this, then it forces them to question all their previous beliefs that they've held. And they can't afford to do that because it's just too difficult. So they would much rather say, no, you're crazy, and this is the truth, and that's what cognitive dissonance is. Unfortunately, it's not how society evolves. You have no idea the level of gratitude that I have for you. You have no idea, because of you and everyone else like you, our humanity will survive. We're talking about the future of the human race. And what they're doing is committing the greatest atrocity, the greatest crime against mankind that has ever been committed. And if we allow them to get away with it, it will be the end of recorded history as we know it. We are talking about a mass extinction level event here that's potentially coming down the pipeline. And it may have been the ice age before, it may have been something else, but this is going to be because of the stupidity of the human species. So we have to rise up right now. We have to do it. We have to make this change now. We have to wake up. We have to realize what's happening, because the planet's survival, literally the human species survival, is at stake. People like that know that they could get social reprimanding, they could get a lot of dislikes, a lot of negative publicity, but they're still doing it because truth is that important to them. So to all the truth seekers, I appreciate you, and for all of us, I hope that we hold that intention in our hearts for all the truth seekers, to give them more energy, more power.
Everything is a frequency. My voice now is a frequency. And mendacity, lies, deceit is a frequency. Truth is a frequency, a much more powerful frequency. And they know the power of the truth circulating because people resonate with it. And so if they are going to pull off what we're unfolding now, what we're experiencing now, and they are going to control billions of people, they have to control their perception. They have to. We are in the situation we are now because of mass human perception. And that perception allows vast numbers of people to concede their uniqueness, to concede their freedom, and to sit in their house under house arrest, being told what to do by a handful of people. And the other perception is, I can see there's something not right here, but what are the consequences of me saying so or taking this on and challenging it? And that perception of what are the consequences for me means that lots of people who have realized something's not right also sit under house arrest. And those two perceptions, they are the reason that this is happening. It's perception and fear of consequences that are making this all possible and are destroying the independent livelihoods of billions of people. And the greatest form of control is dependency. This is not about money, you see. This is about control. This is about a complete takeover, not just of humans in the physical sense, if you like. It's to take over their minds, and their perceptions directly in the end. And there's two mass mind perceptual manipulation techniques that this cult uses to advance its agenda. One I called a long time ago problem reaction solution, where you covertly create a problem, you get your unquestioning media to tell the public the version of that problem you want them to believe, and you want the public to be saying in a state of fear and anxiety or outrage, something must be done, what are they going to do about it? And then those who've covertly created the problem and got that reaction then openly offer the solutions to the problems they've covertly created and blame someone else for. And there's another version of that which I have called no problem reaction solution. That's where you don't need a real problem, you need the perception of one. I'm going to do what I know to be right. That is an unstoppable force. It doesn't need violence. Last thing we need is violence. This doesn't do violence. But the power of doing what you know to be right and not in ever considering not doing it, if enough people do that, we take control back of our society. And we will inherit a society based on that and not on fear, which is what has controlled human society for about known human history.
The world's gone crazy. It just continues to be crazy, and the craziness is next level everywhere. Things can never really go back to what they were, folks. It's a new world we're moving into. And what it's going to be is going to be determined by us.
You know, I've travelled to over 108 countries in my life. I've been right around the world many times. I've seen lots of people from lots of countries. I've never met anybody who wanted a war. It's all governments who want to do this all the time. It's governments who control the whole situation. And they play everybody off against each other, and they all work together. And that's something we've got to realise, is that we're dealing with a multinational criminal cabal. And the only reason they get away with what they're doing is because we continually comply with our own enslavement, and we have to simply disconnect from it, stop complying with it. And the best form of non-compliance is to step into your heart. It really is. You know, if you obey your moral compass in everything you do, then the system can't do anything for you. It can't control you, because you continually have to step outside your moral compass to abide legislation all the time. And I just refuse to do that, because most of the time in our lives we're not what we want to be. We're doing something that someone else has told us to do. We're following parameters that someone else has given us. We're following guidelines that someone else has put there for us. We're not living our own life. And we're stepping outside our moral compass in every minute of every day in order to put food on the table. We have to stop that. We have to really step back and look at this and realise that it's already a community of people. If you can look at people as being yourself, another yourself, simply viewing reality from that perspective, suddenly all the barriers break down between people, and you find that you can live your life in a state of abundance and giving. And it isn't a state that you're keeping tabs on what you're giving to people. I just give unconditionally to people.
We have every opportunity to create some really good change here, we really do. You know, for the first time in living memory, the entire system's been laid bare. All those people who were classed as conspiracy theorists, well, here it is. It's not a theory anymore. And it's most definitely a conspiracy. I mean, you should be able to see that just by the way the governments are all working together to do the same thing. It's all in lockstep. People might think, well, how could these governments agree to do this when they can't agree on anything? But the thing is, they can agree on everything, and they always have agreed on everything. All of the things they've shown us, it's all been theatre, folks. Theatre for the masses. To make us think that the governments are actually the enemies of each other. To make us think that we need governments to protect us. But who we need them to protect us from? Well, the other governments, of course. Without our government, the other governments might want to help us. But that never happens, folks. Even when we go to war with other countries, they never bomb the government buildings. They just bomb the people. It's a pretty twisted world, eh? But now's the time to push back. Now's the time to put down all the fear. I mean, it's come to the wire now, folks. What are you going to do? You're going to just do what you're told and get taken away and be put somewhere else and, you know?
You know, your heart is the most powerful thing, and opening up your heart to people is what will change the world. That's how we can get through this system, by realising that it's all a fiction. And even people that learn the legal stuff and all the law stuff and how to get through it, to go to fight the system, what for? You're fighting a fiction, you're fighting a cloud, you're learning all this stuff to fight a cloud. So how real is it? You know, why are you learning all this stuff to go and fight something which is just an idea? What you've got to do is just disconnect from it. Disconnect from the whole thing. And the way you do that, again, is to connect to your heart and to connect to the people around you. Because when you do that, government ceases to exist. So we don't need to build any new system. We've got a system here already that could work, only we have to constantly step outside our moral compass to comply with it. And that's why it doesn't work. When you think about it, folks, as soon as you start doing the right thing in all that you do, and all your actions are according to your moral compass, this system cannot exist. It simply cannot function in that environment. It only functions now because we're so willing to step outside of our hearts and do whatever we're told. Yes sir, no bags, 3 bags full, sir. And all we're really doing is paying protection money. That's what taxes are, it's protection money. I'll pay my taxes, you go and bomb those guys over there, just leave us alone here. It's all good. You know, and that's what we do. So now we run through our lives searching for some form of value of ourselves. You know, so many people just want to feel like they have value. They want to feel like they actually mean something. They're not just a little cog in the big machine. Well, guess what? You all do mean something. You know, you're not what this system has told you that you are. Every single one of you is a divine expression of creation that can do incredible things. The best form of non-compliance is to step into your heart and do the right thing. Follow the rules of Dharma. Do the right thing in the right way at the right time for the right reason. And if you live your life in a state of unconditional love and service to creation, then you can find the path through that. And service to creation, it's not service to others at the expense of yourself. Put yourself on an even keel with everybody else. Don't serve others and deplete yourself. Don't serve yourself and deplete others. Put yourself on an even keel, in like cash, and we can change the world.